Abe, for his part, said that a Taiwan emergency is a Japanese emergency, suggesting that Japan should not stand by if China were to invade Taiwan. How is Kishida aligned with this as the U.S. gets closer with Taiwan economically?
I think that he's pretty aligned in terms of the policy outcome. Kishida is a bit less nationalistic than Abe, and has less sort of personal stake in trying to, in kind of the nationalist kind of causes in Japan, like the islands that Russia is occupying and the kind of conflicts with South Korea over Dr. Takeshima. So Kishida certainly would be in line with Abe's views, but it's not a personal obsession for him like it was for Abe. So I don't think Kishida will change tack, but he's not going to be distracted by some of these, I guess, kind of heartstrings, nationalism issues in the same way that Abe was. That actually means that he's likely to be potentially a bit tougher against China because he doesn't have kind of other issues. For example, the relationship with Korea is probably going to be better under Kishida and the new South Korean president than it was. So I think China is not going to see any let-up in Japanese commitment, certainly to defending the islands that it occupies in the East China Sea. And if Taiwan was invaded, I think for sure Japan would be heavily involved, and they'd be stretching as far as possible the definition of self-defense there. And of course, US bases, particularly in Okinawa, would clearly come into use. Now, after the upper house elections, where the ruling party got even better results than expected, where the EIU thought they'd increase their majority, they did, and by a long way. So there's definitely the supermajority there in a parliamentary sense. To move ahead with some constitutional change. Now, it's public support is probably not there yet. So if we're going to see some official change to the stance, we'd need to see some dialogue with the public and some kind of national process there. However, there's a lot that can be done by stretching the definition of self-defense, which has been done. Really, I mean, Abe did a lot of it, and I think the government will continue to do so, using the war in Ukraine as a reason to extend what Japan's going to do, and that more and more capabilities and more activities really can be defined in the Japanese mind from their perspective as having a self-defensive angle.